So we the people, real estate podcast today with Frank the Bank. Guys, you want to join this one? We got a good episode here. We're going to talk debate. We're going to talk another rate drop. Seems like it's 3 weeks in a row where we're talking about a rate drop.
And we're under 5%.
That's right. I just saw the news and, I'm going to show you what Google got. And then we're going to talk about what Frank got for you.
I haven't even seen it.
That's right. And then also they're talking about a government shutdown. We gotta talk about that a little bit. I could possibly end up in another lockdown. What's going on here? Hey, we the people. Let's go.
Oh, I like it.
How's it going, everybody? This is We the People. Let's talk. Yeah, Frank, you were supposed to be quiet during that, but I'm glad you liked that.
I liked it, so I gave it a positive review.
All right. All right, let's get right into it. Bo, if you could please put the rates. So here we go, guys. For the first time in probably a year and a half, the rates on Google are showing a 6.92. Frank, tell me about this.
So Carlos, they're only lying a lot instead of a whole lot. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up right now because we did the rates this morning and put them all over the Facebook machine this morning. And rates today, so that's the retail rate, 6.92. So it's positive because it is showing you rates are going down. So that's a good thing, right? At least people can see it. Let's see, conventional right now, 30-year fixed. How about 5.5 on the conventional? But how about for you veterans and your FHA buyers, 4.75 FHA, 4.875 VA, APRs 5.6 and 5.7. Guys, awesome. This is crazy.
Yeah,
it's like you really are, and you could refinance right now if you're an existing veteran. You can refi. We just locked a 4.875, 5.24 APR yesterday for a veteran. So it's here. It's like, if you think you can't afford that house and Carlos shows you and you're running the numbers because you're looking at Google and it says 6.92%, and you're like, that's too much. Let's do some math really quick. Yeah. We never do this because we need to do.
We've done a few math.
Yeah,
a little bit of math. We like doing math.
What's a good price? 400,000.
Let's do 400,000. Yeah, that's about average right now.
400,000 loan amount. Let's do a 30-year fixed. Let's say you go with the Google lender and you get 6.92. Your payment, your principal and interest payment on that is going to be $26.39. So $26.40 per month. Okay. Let's say you get the Lincoln lending rate and you're doing your VA loan, right? Yep. Let's do 4.99. 2640, 499. Here it comes. 2140.
That's $400 right
Yes,
there.
Got it, baby. That's $400.
$400.
No. It's 2640. Hell, that's $500.
Wow.
$500.
Yeah. $500.
Yeah, I'll do the math.
Yeah, dude, stick to that. I'll find you the house.
No, he finds you the house. I find you the loan. That's $500.
That's amazing. That makes a big difference. I was telling my clients the other day, we were looking at a house and he was talking about the monthly payment and this and that. I like to talk to my clients, especially when they have a little bit of a vision in terms of how to save money on their the house that they're buying, because sometimes they're approved for a little bit more and they don't want to use their whole approval. And I'm like, look, man, like, just if you can figure out how to make money out of the house, like if you could rent out a room or something like that could help you out.
Yeah.
And a lot of my clients do that, especially in the Cuban side. They rent out efficiencies or whatever. Yeah. Just survive what's going on right now, because you're going to enjoy some good prices, some good negotiations right now out there in the market. It won't last if the rates keep going down. And right now, they're at a point where buyers are coming out. So get out there.
It will not last.
Home, guys.
It's now. It's happening. It's already happening.
So why do you think the rates are down?
A lot of things. Unemployment figures. I think the debate actually maybe had a little bit of something to do with this last little bump, but I think it's also the anticipation. You know how we always talk about things are priced into the market? Like things happen, and then people are like, the market's changing. Well, the market knows what is happening. They know that the Fed is going to lower the rates. They've already said it, that they're going to lower them in probably like 10 days from now. Not even, right? What is today's
So
date?
there's going to be another drop.
There's going to be another drop. The 17th or 18th when they go to meet, there's going to be the national drop, and then you'll probably see a little drop on the 30-year fix. Excuse me. Salud. You'll probably see a little bit of a drop on the 30-year fixed. But what I'm saying, Carlos, is that they have kind of already priced in the rates going down into the market right now. Nice. So that's why we're seeing this, and it's just good news. It's I don't sometimes I don't like to ask why. I just like to say thank you.
Yeah.
And let's get it going.
I completely agree with that.
Let's get it going. So tell your friends.
So Frank, real quick. Okay, so in terms of how much it will go down, do you have any insights on that, or like, could we possibly see 3%, like high threes before the elections? What do you think about that?
I think if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have probably said no. But now that I'm seeing that we are actually like what did I just say the VA was? Now 4.75 on the FHA, 4.875 on the VA. That means you're asking about the threes.
Because I thought we were gonna get to this, number in September 17th.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
So what you took the words out of my mouth. Right. So I think we're kind of ahead of the game. So my feeling is, I actually think that there is a chance. Now before the election, no, I don't think that's going to happen. But do I think there's a chance now? Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you this, you're close enough that you could pay to buy down into the threes right now.
Yeah.
You could do it. Like if a seller gives you enough concession and you got the money, I wouldn't tell you to do it now because I'd say close now and refinance down the road and pay to get into the threes when they get a little lower.
Right. What about those people that are looking to refinance? If you bought in the last 2 years, if you bought, in the 6 or 7s, is it a good option to refinance right now?
Absolutely. Everybody's qualified right now. I mean, look, we just did the math from 6.92, which is better than what pretty much everybody has over the last couple of years. That's $500 a month.
Just doing the math. Let's say I got, 7%.
Yeah.
That I bought with 7%, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I want to refinance, and I can lock down a 4 point something like that. Do I not? I also save money in the life of the loan, right?
Hell yeah. So we just did the math together. We didn't think about the way we did it, but we just showed 6.92 down to 4.75, I think I did 4.99, whatever. But we saved $500 a month.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes. And then you do $500 a month times 1 year, that's $6,000.
Yeah.
And so over the life of the loan, you say, oh, you know what? I follow your math. Let me do something real quick because that's called amortization.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What people
and you pay so much interest up front.
Right. So people like to look at it. Let me turn this off. The way we have to look at amortization is how much are you going to save if you are going to keep that loan all the way through 30 years, right? So, by Opus Pro. That's so funny. It just popped up. That's the thing I asked you about earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Got to get this off the screen. This is killing me. Okay, why is it not there? So the total you're going to save from the same $400,000 loan, whether you're refinancing or let's just say you're purchasing with Carlos and you're going from Bank of America over to Lincoln Lending Group, if you do a $400,000 loan at 6.99, we'll just do 6.9, right?
Yeah.
You're going to pay over the life of the loan $548,000 of interest. Okay, just interest, $548,000.
So you end up paying almost $1 million.
$948,000 you pay for that $400,000 home.
Yeah.
So remember that number.
Right.
Ready? Now take it down to 4.75. You're paying $351 in interest.
Yeah.
And you're paying $751 for the house. You're saving $200,000+ over the life of the loan. That's like another house or 2 Ferraris.
Yeah, and sometimes people don't like to hear numbers big like that. But let me tell you something. For those people who are like, I would never get a loan that big to buy a house or whatever. All right. So then you would rather rent. You would rather, spend your money. You got to pay for living, right? Unless you live with your parents or you have a free apartment or something.
Right.
The thing is that, nobody wants a loan that big. I think it's a very big responsibility. But one, there's ways to save money so you could buy a house cash. If you start early, and it's not that simple. Like saving a lot of money monthly like that, it's, like the Dave Ramsey thing, it can get very complicated to try to save that amount of money, especially if you halfway through you go through a divorce or a hardship and stuff like that. You're going to use money.
Right.
If you can buy a house right now, I always tell people, dude, just buy the freaking house. My dad told me this since I got to this country. If you can own land, even with a loan, however it is, just become an owner. Your second, your third purchases, yeah, they're investments. Think about them differently. But when it comes to that very first one specifically, definitely buy however you possibly can. If you got to pay for living anyways, you got to pay for rent anyways, somehow just buy the freaking house. At the end, when rates go down, you can adjust, you can refinance, you could do whatever you got to do to make your payments better. You could figure out how to rent half of the house or an apartment or whatever you got to do to make sure that those payments are being paid. But if you're renting, what happens when you can't pay that rent anymore? Right?
You get kicked out.
You get kicked out to the street. Let me tell you something. I went through hardships with my first house. And something that I learned is that the bank will work with you through a hardship. They will do a modification. They will make things happen so that you don't lose the house. And you can still live on it through your hardship until you get that better job or whatever you got to do. So there's so many winning possibilities if you just decide to be a homeowner versus not owning anything.
Let me throw out another scenario because you're right. It happens. Two things I'll say. Number one, if you're scared to have a mortgage and you're renting, you already have a mortgage.
Right.
You're just paying the other guy's mortgage.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so you're already paying a mortgage. So don't be scared to get a mortgage. But to Carlos' point, let's say things get so bad that the bank won't work with you and you don't have options and you can't afford it. Well, hopefully you were able to pay that for a little while. Hopefully the market was going in the right direction, right? Hopefully you have equity.
That's right.
And then what happens? You sell it.
That's right.
And I'm dealing with a guy right now who's behind almost a year in payments, and he didn't know what to do. And I gave him the advice. I said, listen, you cannot get a loan. You have $225,000 of equity. Don't let they're about to schedule a foreclosure sale for his house.
Yeah, don't
I'm
let
like,
that
list
happen,
your
guys.
house and sell it right now. Take the $200,000 and go buy something cash.
Yeah, if you have equity on a house, I mean, even in a car, sometimes people got equity on a car and they don't even know it, and they let the bank take the car. If you're going through a hardship and you have value in that house or car, do not just let the bank take it. You're basically giving them money for free. That equity, those payments that you made, that amount of equity that you created through time is yours. You can keep it. You can figure it out. I mean, I've met clients, dude, that walked away from a house in 2008, and they were sitting on over $100,000 equity, and they just stopped because they couldn't make the payments. They couldn't do nothing with
It's
the house.
crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. You guys, if you have equity, never let the bank take it from you. Call a realtor. Call myself.
Yep.
I'll help you sell it. I'll help you get your equity back, and you could do something with your life. Possibly with that money, you could probably get out of a lot of issues that you may be having in that moment.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our politics here. Debate. Frank,
Debate.
I would love to, man, I got a lot to say about this. I would like to know your opinion. How was the debate in your opinion? How do you think Trump did? How do you think Kamala did? What's up?
So I was a little disappointed in Trump's demeanor. I think I'll get to the point. I don't think Trump lost any votes. I'm going to say this before I go back to my disappointment is his supporters understand the way he talks. They like the way he talks. He's blunt, direct. He didn't say anything different. Democrats that support Kamala are not changing. They're still supporting Kamala, right? If you're crazy, you're crazy, right? And then, so the question was the independents. And at the end of the debate, I was a bit worried. I'm like, oh man, I think maybe he was like a little mean. He was a little too tough. Maybe the independents are not going to like that. But then the next day when the polls started coming out and I started, and I don't even mean that like who's going to win the election poll. I mean, I started looking at the ones that had the people that were actively giving opinion during the debate, and they have those, I can't remember what they call them, those line graphs. Yeah. And every time they go up or down based on if people like what they're hearing or don't like what they're hearing. And they had a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent one. And every single one that I saw had the independence line following the Republican line on about 80% of what Trump said. There was a few things they didn't agree, but the vast majority they did. So now a lot of these pollsters are coming out saying, well, if the goal was to get the independents, it does seem like they're siding with him. And here's the thing. Kamala had no policy. There was three things. Now she did tug on the heartstrings very well. I will say that she ruffled his feathers and she tugged on the heartstrings of the Americans who want to feel good about the person, who don't want to hear the scary stuff and the real stuff.
Yeah.
That probably worked well. But in the end, it was about the independents, and Trump hit his policy, whether he did it nicely or not. Only three things she did. $25,000 for new homeowners. She hasn't said how she's going to do that yet. Obama did it. I know what's going to happen. $50,000 for new business owners, and then $6,000 for new families, new babies. Right. So she basically said, I'm going to give you money.
Right.
And those were my policies.
Right.
Other than that, nothing else.
So can we talk about those three things real quick?
Sure.
I want to gauge your opinion on it. So basically, the way I see those things is, all right, so that means you're going to get us in more debt. Is that a right mindset or?
Well, where's the money coming from?
Right.
But she says that she's not, but she is.
So when it comes to Obama, for example,
Right.
and Obama did do something that helped a lot of Americans start
he
buying
did an
houses.
$8,000 tax credit because that's the only way that you can give people the money.
So you agree with that? Do you like that type of credit? How did you feel about that? Like how is that a negative for us?
It's not. To be honest with you, when Biden got elected, I did make a public comment and I said, you know what, the silver lining to this is that we'll probably get some down payment assistance from the federal government like Obama did. And very surprisingly, he didn't do it.
Right.
He didn't give it. And in the Obama, $8,000 drove our real estate market. It did a great job to get first-time home buyers in there.
Yeah.
And the way it worked is if you didn't owe the IRS money, they would actually send you a check like you got a refund. If you owed them money, they took the money off. That's the only way it's going to happen. She didn't enunciate that.
Right.
But I know because we did it and it's happened before. It happened for almost 8 years. So
but
I
she
know
could do the same thing that Biden did.
What, just send checks?
Just not do anything.
Of course she's going to do that.
I mean, it's I don't understand.
$50,000 for a new business?
Right.
Like,
what about that one?
I mean, is it helpful, I guess, to people start new? Yeah, but what is it? 90% of new businesses fail. So I'm not gonna knock trying to help people necessarily, but the money's got to come from somewhere. So we have to be intelligent about it. Right. Where's it coming from?
Right. And that's the thing that I think people should really pay attention to. You can't just be a politician and start saying this amazing things. Hey, we're going to give money away. And all of a sudden, oh, yeah, we got to vote for her because she's going to give us more money. That's not how it works. No. They don't necessarily do that.
Student loans, free money. It's like,
right.
It does work on a certain population.
Right. So student loans is a great one, right?
Yeah.
Biden said we're going to go ahead and forgive student loans.
Yeah.
And you know what that type of policies do is that it creates an environment where students feel like, hey, let's just get a loan. Eventually we'll be forgiven anyways. And Biden said that he was going to forgive student loans. And at the end, he ended up not doing it either. So
right.
It's
because the Supreme Court shut it down.
So are you going to vote for her because of those things? Because here's the thing. She might not actually do it. She might do it the way that Obama did, and that might be a good thing with the housing situation.
Right.
The businesses, $50,000 is a lot. Most first businesses fail, like you just stated. So how does the government even recuperate that money?
How do you
create a bigger
gauge
hole, right?
So I mean, they're just gonna be like, oh, well, you don't have to. So if I could see something saying, okay, you're not gonna get taxed on your first $50,000 of revenue.
Yeah,
I could kind of see that because at that point it's not actually a loss to the government,
right?
Because they're not giving a tax credit and giving you like free money. But they say, okay, if you report $50,000 in revenue, we're not going to tax you. So if those are new businesses, then you have to think that is new income to the IRS, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a loss, really, right?
But then we have the families one, right? We're gonna go ahead and give $6,000 to families. So all right, I think as Americans we need something like that. I really do believe that. I mean, my wife when she had her babies, we have maybe 2 months off of work, and it's not enough. In order, breastfeeding and a bunch of, I would say at least a minimum of somewhere around 6 months should be good. And there's some countries that do a year to 2 years. I know a country that does like 4 years, but they have a lot of high taxes. I don't know that we could do that.
Spain.
But
France.
but I think those countries don't work well though. I'm talking
they have 50% taxes.
I'm talking about I think Sweden does it, or something like that, and they do it well. I mean, it looks like they're happy with it. But in America, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But when it comes to Kamala, it's about, do you trust her to actually get those things done? Trump may not say that he's gonna do that thing, but what he says he will do, I can trust he's gonna get it done. Personally, I feel like he'll get the border crisis fixed, no problem. I trust that will get fixed.
Well, let's bring up one of the, I think the best things Trump said in the whole debate, and I think this probably had to resonate with a lot of people, is he looked at her in the end, actually in the middle and the end, and said, okay, you have the ability to shut the border down right now. Take your ass back to Washington, walk in there, wake up Sleepy Joe, sign a bill today to close the border. And honestly, Carlos, when he said that, I got a little scared because I looked at it and I said, they're both looking at me, I said, holy shit, what if she does that? If she does that, I mean, that would be like a huge boost to her. People would be like, okay, now she could do that. She could rescind it. You know, she could change everything afterwards. But holy shit, what if she did that?
Yeah.
You know, but here's where the money where the mouth is going to go. She ain't going to do it. So and he's right. The other thing he said was, what the hell have you done for 3.5 years? You're talking about everything you're going to do. Why have you not done it with your partner, Joe Biden? Why you guys haven't brought anything up? Why have you made any of these changes? All of a sudden, you're going to change it? You're going to do fracking?
Yeah.
You have your guns? Did he ask her what guns she had? I wish he had.
No. That's
he should have called her out on that. Billy, you got guns? What kind of guns you got?
Many
Name
things.
one.
He did not mention once his assassination attempt. And, you know, you do not
One
need
5-second mention.
You do not need to point a finger at her, but you could definitely say the amount of hate that your party has thrown at me has, could have
what he
cost
said was,
us.
I almost took a bullet to the head because of the hate you guys are spewing and telling people that I'm against democracy. She's against democracy.
Right.
But I do agree. That should have been a bigger point.
I just feel like, especially in the whole beginning, obviously the anchors or the moderators are completely against them. I wasn't surprised there. And one thing that I really wanted him to do is I wanted him to go back at the moderators and just kind of like tell them, why do you guys keep interrupting me, or why do you guys keep fact checking me, but you don't fact check her? For example, the animal thing. Yeah, come on now. Look, I had a video. I was doing a transmission live.
Yeah.
This is real. There's a Haitian woman. There's a body cam from a cop asking the neighbors. She was eating a cat, and she wasn't just, let me tell you, man, I know Cubans that have eaten cats.
Right.
All right? In the 90s, when I was little, like, I have friends that ate cats.
Yeah.
And they cooked it.
Pollo gato?
They I'm just saying they cooked the cat. This lady on that video was eating the cat raw, dude. Raw. She didn't do a bonfire or anything. Like, she just, like, I was like, what are we watching here? Like, is this really happening in the United States?
Sounds like it.
And when it comes to the ducks, disappearing and stuff like, dude, I know that's real. I know it because I've seen people from Cuba that have thought of that would definitely, like, me and my friends joke around when we go through a neighborhood and we see ducks passing by. We're like, man, if we were in Cuba, that wouldn't be alive right there.
Right.
How beautiful is this country? That animals, squirrels are just everywhere.
Yeah.
This is like, you know what I'm talking about, Frank?
Yeah.
Like in Cuba, they're feeding, like, the dogs that are on the street, they feed those to the lions at the zoo. Bro, like, people don't understand how serious this is. Like, there's the video right there.
There's the body cam right there.
Do you have the actual video?
So it was real then.
Look, it is
actually
real.
was real.
It is real. Look, I had look, they're arresting her right there. This is the lady right there. You gotta find a better one, but
no, it's okay.
maybe go forward, because the
good.
cop gets there and she's eating it right away. In here, the cop is asking her if she can smile or whatever, because she had blood in her mouth. And then they went around and started asking the neighbors about it. And when the neighbors are yeah, she was just eating the cat.
Oh my God. Well,
it is real. And the moderators and the debate are like, there's actually no reports that say that this was real. Right. What do you mean? So then X afterwards, and I'm sorry guys, I do get emotional with this because it pisses me off to just see moderators and news people just lie to my face, because I used to believe in these people. And maybe now I have a podcast because I'm so tired of all this bull crap. And I thank Joe Rogan and everybody at those podcasts, because they've kind of opened my eyes to not believe everything you see in the news. And Trump is the biggest one for me. Like when I figured out that news, the fake news things was actually real.
Yeah,
that was a big eye opener for me. Because as a Cuban, I'm like, you know what? I've been lying my whole life already.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to come here and have it happen too.
So when I see that they're trying to fact check him and they're not even correct about the fact checking that they're doing, it's like, come on, man. And then everything that she's saying. I'm not trying to take guns away. Why didn't the moderator say, actually, you did say this on this video? Because I have videos of her saying that she will do a buyback on guns or whatever.
Buyback, yep.
Like, there were so many points that she made that there's video evidence of her talking about those policies and things in this year or whatever, but nothing happened to her. They didn't question any of the lies that she said. I understand both politicians lie. I get that.
Yeah.
But you can't just, question one and not the other. It's that just got me a little upset. All right. So
hey, you know what? I want to bring up one thing. You mentioned about the kids' tax credit because, again, I'm not opposed to try and help people out. It just can't be at the expense of other people.
Right.
But the tax credit, my wife and I were hurting 14 years ago when I had my son. And I remember we went to a birthing center and we had to pay the bill and the bill sucked. You know what I mean? Before I even had to take care of the kid. But my wife made a comment to me when we were talking about the other night. She goes, well, honey, don't you think that would encourage people to just have more kids, kind of like our welfare system does, how we pay for people every time they have more kids. And like Obamacare, I don't know if you looked into it, but the more kids you have, the less money you have, the less you pay. It's a really weird freaking equation because we went through it and we went in and they're like, yeah, okay, you guys are still gonna have to pay $1,000 a month. But the lady next to us who had 7 kids was basically getting paid.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, wow, that's how that shit works. So that's my concern. When you throw out and be like, $6,000 if you have a kid. Well, okay, maybe that's limited to 2.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Or maybe you have to have a job. How about something like that? You can't be unemployed and have kids and get the $6,000 from the government. If you're working, you're paying your taxes, right? Even Bo's shaking his head. He's like, yeah, man, that's a good idea.
I just feel like that's such a great, it's a great area for me because I want more kids in America. I feel like, the birth rate is climbing down. The abortion rate is, I don't even know.
No, it is.
I want more babies. I want the future to be good, but I also don't want people having babies just because of money. That's the real reason I have babies,
That's the system.
And unfortunately, it's an area where, I do want the capitalism part to work. Go out there, make your money. But if you by accident have a baby and you need the help, it would be nice that the government steps in. But then it's like, well, who does that? Who takes care of that? Who's not lying and who's telling the truth? It's too much. So, yeah.
Anyway,
I get it.
moving on.
All right. Last thing we got going on here is government shutdown. Speaker Johnson postpones vote on a bill to avoid a partial government shutdown. And they were also talking about a possible lockdown again. Right before the elections?
You know what, dude? I am honestly out of the loop on this one.
Bo, give me some insight on this.
Do we
You're
got
the
any
expert
insight?
on this part.
I am not 100. I'm going to check our battery while we're checking into that real quick.
Yeah, so obviously September 30th is the end of the fiscal year for our government. And so this is a big push to have a new consensus billing, which is proposed that Trump's actually in favor of shutting down the government for this because of the bill, which is actually one of the articles is you have to have proof of citizenship to vote. That's going to be in this bill. So I don't know if that's going to be good for us or you're going to have less people vote because they have to have what it means as proof of citizenship. I don't know, but
a valid ID. But then again, there's states that'll give you an ID without citizenship.
So do you have to bring your passport, birth certificate? Like what is?
It'd have to be a birth certificate. That's it. Because not everybody's required to have a passport. So you'd have to have a birth certificate or a social security card. Those would be the only things. A government-issued social security card or a birth certificate would be the only thing I could think.
I think the best thing is what we said on this show, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, which is, how about we make it a national voting holiday where everybody takes off and goes out to vote. That way we don't have any excuse. You know what? You need your birth certificate. You got a whole day to find it.
Right.
And go and vote.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, I heard something Tucker Carlson is flying all around, not flying, I guess he's doing an event and he's doing some really big interviews to a lot of people. And he had Russell Brand on it, and man, it was such a good interview. That it gave me the whole interview gave me chills. He ended it with a very nice prayer too. His whole life story was just amazing. I recommend everybody goes out and watches that.
Russell has a great life story.
Yeah,
I'm familiar.
The whole thing with the baby, that was impressive to hear. I didn't even know he went through that. But one of the things that I really liked is he has somebody on, and I don't remember his name, but he was like, we have a guy that is taking a bullet for us, that can literally is willing to die to get the job for the presidency of this country. Guys, grab your friends and your cousins, get out there and vote. Like, just take them by the shirt and take them out there and vote. And I don't know. I feel that as well. I feel like this in November, it's all about communism versus capitalism, or communism versus freedom. I feel like it's good versus evil. And I can't state it enough. I mean, we have evidence on this show that we've been putting on for you guys. I'm not saying that Trump is, this angel or this Jesus Christ. That's not what I'm saying. But when it comes to the other side, we've had 4 years of this.
Yeah.
And it's rough, man. Right now for realtors, I'm hearing you guys, like, it's rough out there with all the new law that just passed, and on top of that, all the issues that are happening with our economy. If people are not making money, people won't be making moves. So there's that, and I know truckers are struggling. I know business owners are struggling. There's just a lot of things going on that just don't feel American. They don't feel right. And one of the biggest things that I took away from all the research that I'm doing on Miss Kamala is when she spoke against freedom of speech. She literally said on a video, and you guys can find this. If you don't believe me, do your own research and find it. She spoke on a video talking about anything that you post online, on Facebook, Instagram, anything that you post on your social media that has anything to do like with hate, like that is considered a hate crime. Now think about what's happening in Canada right now.
Yeah.
Where truckers have gone out there to protest, and they're being arrested.
Yep.
Just for stating that they don't agree with what the
Same with
president
Great
is
Britain.
doing. So think about this podcast. Think about your freedom of speech. Think about I want to be free to say whatever I want. If I don't like Kamala, I want to be able to say that loud and clear. If I think she's a fascist or a communist or whatever, I want to have the freedom to say that, because that's my opinion. And whether it hurts somebody or not, like, I don't really care, and I shouldn't have to care, or I shouldn't have to be afraid of what I'm going to say in this podcast because I'm going to be canceled or whatever. We should be able to just talk freely. And I lived in a country where, as coming up as a kid, if I said the wrong thing, then all of a sudden, my friends and everybody, hey, be careful. You can't say that. You can't say that because somebody wrong can hear you. And all of a sudden, one of your family members can be in jail or something like that.
Right.
So come on, like just hearing some of those policies, they're scary for me. Personally, for my family, they sound really scary. You know what's even scarier? Having family members that don't see that and they still want to vote for her. That shit is the scariest thing because they come from that and they don't see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, better economy, 4 years versus 4 years. It's the same thing. Biden, Kamala, the whole Democrat system right now is corrupted. And R.F. Kennedy gave you proof of that. I love RFK. I think he was a good dude. And if it was Trump versus RFK or Trump versus Tulsi Gabbard, I'll tell you what, that'd be a crazy race.
Yeah,
but both
I
of
agree.
those candidates, both of them, went through the Democrat Party, and they both got kicked out. Tulsi Gabbard got kicked out because she stated that that she was considered. Everybody was already talking about she's gonna be the next president.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she started talking about, well, why do we need to fight another pointless war? And all of a sudden, they completely cut her off. So come on, guys. Right. The Democrats want more war. They want, we have nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Trump said it. And maybe he was a little bit too, because I feel like he wasn't passionate enough about it. The way he stated it, it's like, guys, it's serious. Nuclear weapons. Like, if you think if Putin wants to destroy Ukraine, he wouldn't have already done it.
Oh, come on. Of course.
Like,
Of
do
course.
you guys
It's a
understand
game,
how
guys.
Russia
It's a
is?
game.
Russia's huge. They
People
would've-
are like, oh, Ukraine is holding them off. Oh, come on.
No.
Come on, bro.
He could end it all in a second. Like, he could be like, this is mine because I want to right now.
Yeah.
And we don't have we don't have the leadership right now that we should be having to prevent a moment like that from happening.
Right.
So let's put somebody in power that will prevent that from happening. Is my point of view. And I think as an American, if you truly love this country, you should have that same view. I mean, it's literally black and white in this election, in my opinion. If it was another option, I'll be telling you something else. I'll be like, you know what, both candidates are good guys. Like, I'm
Dude, I like what you said. If it was RFK, Gabby, and Trump, oof, boy, that would be a tough one, dude.
Right.
Even somebody in one of my executives in my company loves Gabbard, and she hates Trump, and she's a Democrat. She was going to vote the other way, and she's like, if it was Gabbard, I'd vote for her.
right.
So, yeah.
But if you like Gabbard right now, you should be voting for Trump.
Vote for Trump.
They're-
Because
they're
Gabbard
lit-
has a long career ahead of her.
And she's endorsed Trump. So
She'll be up
follow the people. If you literally focus on RFK or on Gabbard, they've endorsed Trump, not because they agree with absolutely everything that he's
Right.
going to do, but they agree with most of the things that he has compared to Kamala.
You don't have to like the person.
Right.
You don't have to agree with everything. You have to decide what you agree with the most. It has nothing to do with feelings. It has to do with business, and our country's a business.
Let's finish it right there.
That's it.
Thank you guys so much for everything. Bo, thank you for being here, my man. Frank,
Thank you.
love you, bro.
Love it, bro.
We have another episode next week, guys. See you on the next one. Peace out.